Hey, it's Andrew Huang. How would you decide on the best song of the past year? Would it be what you listened to the most, what surprised you the most, maybe what touched you the most emotionally? How would you pick a favorite? For me, the answer is all of the above and more. There's a song that came out last November that really hit it out of the park in all of the ways that I like to hear a song hit it out of the park. This song is very good at baseball, and I usually have a hard time picking a favorite of anything because there's a huge variety to what I enjoy, but in the past year, this one song stood out to me. I played it more than any other, and taste is personal, so it's very likely that you'll disagree with me, but this is my opinion, and I'm gonna use music lingo to try and convince you of it. I'm the least cool person in the world right now. The song is Find Me by Sigma featuring Birdie. This was not a massive song. A lot of people I talked to haven't heard of it, but it was still pretty big. As of right now, it has 19 million plays on Spotify and 15 million on the official music video, which, by the way, features Millie Bobby Brown, who most of you probably know as 11. So I want to talk about why, for me, Find Me is the best song of the past year. I even covered it with Peter Hollins recently. I'll link to that. And then for the real music nerds, I'm the least cool. I want to dissect the song because from a compositional point of view, Sigma and Birdie did some really beautiful and interesting things.
We said goodbye, that's what you told me once. So many times we've made our peace.
Let's just start with the broad strokes and marvel at how this song manages to be everything. It's poppy, but unique. It's epic and it's intimate. It's a banger and it's a ballad. It blends the acoustic and the electronic. It blends genres. It's highly technical and highly emotional. At times it's sorrowful and at other times it's ecstatic. And somehow, with all these paradoxical things coming together, it's cohesive. So let's talk about a couple of those things.
If you're searching for forever, I'll be waiting.
That's my first argument. It's poppy.
I'm poppy.
Pop is a word that encompasses a lot of things, and sometimes it gets a bad rap. But it is no easy feat to create a song that is catchy, memorable, singable, danceable, melodically strong, and impeccably produced. I've worked with a lot of different genres, and pop is one of the hardest ones to do well. Production is the second thing I want to touch on. There are a few things that Sigma did that really set them apart from other producers. One of them is this little choppy vocal that sounds like it was pitch shifted and formant shifted. Everyone I play that to, their ears perk up because it's unusual, it's fun, and it's really well done. There are lots of people messing around with vocal sampling these days, but this is definitely a less common approach. Kind of under the unique subheading, but also fitting with the whole acoustic electronic thing, I stumbled across this video showing Sigma working with a live string section on Find Me, which is pretty unusual for most pop and electronic productions since it's so easy now to just smoosh some samples around. But when you can get the real thing, it just makes the performances that much more powerful. And how about genre? That is an unmistakable drum and bass breakbeat, but it's been lifted from a genre that is typically cutting and aggressive and electronic, and here we're hearing it in this majestic, partly orchestral, vocal forward pop production, and I think it sounds as fresh as ever. So now I want to break down a few of the things I noticed about how Sigma and Birdie constructed this song because it's really smart. It starts with this chord progression. Now, based on the order of the chords and the emphases in the melody, I think most musicians would agree we're in the key of B flat minor, or if you want the relative major, D flat. These feel like the home chords that we want to resolve to. But these four chords could also belong in the key of F minor, or A flat. And that's very interesting because when you look at the verse's melody, it has these notes. This looks like B flat minor missing its 6th degree, G flat, but it could also be F minor missing its 2nd degree, G. The quality of the note G, whether it's flat or natural, is the only thing that differentiates the set of notes that make up F minor from the set of notes that make up B flat minor. So why have I been talking about this for so long? Well, listen to this pre-chorus and check out how the chords change when it gets to the chorus.
Like a river always running, I keep losing you. Like a fire always burning, I'll be here for you. If you're ready,
We start the chorus on an E-flat major chord. This chord contains a G, it does not belong in B-flat minor. We are now solidly in F minor, or its relative A-flat major. So you might say that this was a song that started in an ambiguous key, or like me, you might say that this was a modulation from B-flat minor to F minor. Either way, you feel that qualitative shift happen when we first land on that first E-flat chord. The chorus progression is a repeated E-flat, F minor, D-flat, and I've already talked a lot about what makes the chorus so great, so let's just fast forward to the part where we key change back to verse 2.
Lost our way, that's what you told me lost.
Very conveniently, with our chorus ending on D-flat, we can just slide to the relative B-flat minor, and it might momentarily feel like it's the fourth of F minor, but very soon, again, all the harmonic and melodic indicators point to B-flat being the minor key center. And then, I don't know if you caught that, but they just smooshed their verse and pre-chorus together. Remember this melody from before?
Like a river.
Well, they don't do that part again. It's a beautiful melody, and they never bring it back. After verse 2, they cut out the pre-chorus entirely, except for the last little part of the melody, which they just graphed onto the end. It's the part that helps with the key change.
This is us, I'll never get enough. It's taken losing you to know. If you're ready.
Now we're back into a chorus, E-flat, F minor, D-flat, and the chord progression never changes again. When we get to the bridge, we get new melodic material, but the chords stay the same. And then we combine some of the bridge vocals with some of the chorus vocals during this build-up. And we get one final awesome drop before the song closes. And the last thing I want to talk about is these drops, because they've pulled off another interesting structural move here. The first drop is 16 bars long, the next one is 8 bars long, and the final one is also only 8 bars long. This is in sharp contrast to more common forms where typically choruses and drops each get longer, or at least they're all the same length, except for the last one, which might be repeated a couple times, because you just want to hear the good part for a little longer. So in Find Me, what's missing from these shortened sections? Well, it's actually the highest point in the melodic arc, where Birdie sings I See You Here in the Darkness. She does it in the first chorus as it builds up to a drop.
I see you here in the darkness.
Then she does it in the first drop.
I see you here in the darkness.
She does it in the second build-up.
I see you here in the darkness.
But at the point where it would come in the second drop, we get interrupted by the bridge. Then the bridge starts building up and she sings it again.
I see you here in the darkness.
And then there's the third drop, and you're waiting for it to come in the third drop, but at the moment where it should happen, everything gets pulled back, and you're left with just the piano and Birdie's vocal as she continues to sing about waiting.
Come find me if you're ready. Heart is open. I'll be waiting. Come find me.
It's a beautiful, brilliant move. It works perfectly for this song, and I'm hard-pressed to think of another example of a well-crafted song where the first chorus is the longest and the rest are shorter. Love to know in the comments if something comes to mind for you. This was a bit more technical of a video than I normally do, but I hope you got something out of it. If you're not subscribed, hit that button and ring that bell to get notified of all my new music content. I'm gonna end with a link to Sigma's video and to the cover that I recently dropped with Peter Hollins. Check it out.
Come find me.